My name is Demetrius Holt, but you may know me better by the name Hellspawn. Now I'm coming to you today because I'm putting together a networking event in order to financially bolster Black-owned comic book conventions. It's going to be called the Blurred and Powerful event, and it's going to happen at San Diego Comic-Con 2023. Now, I've already done all the research. I've already talked to all the conventions. What I need for you all is to just share this message. Talk to your friends. But the point is to get high-dollar investors out of San Diego so that they can see what a comic book convention could look like at its height. So that when these other comic book conventions start to exhibit to them, start to explain to them what they're made of, then they know that they're going to get a return on their investment. So if you have any information on anybody that you may know may be interested, please contact me and we'll have a conversation. And if your friends need to know who I am, just tell them to Google my name or Black E-Man. Thanks.
The first season of the Paramount Plus series Halo, based on the Xbox game franchise, is now available on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K UHD, with every episode from Season 1 and over 5 hours of special features. See Master Chief, Cortana, and other Spartans of Silver Team take on humanity's greatest threat, the Covenant. Get your DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K UHD copy of Halo today from Paramount Home Entertainment.
In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. Imagine that, a future that's super black. Long as your skin brown, your superpowers intact. What would your powers be? Just hope it ain't super whack. Spatial manipulation, create a portal that's black. Maybe just super speed, time travel to run it back. Or cheat manipulation to keep my spirit intact. As I encounter evils the world face, demons the world makes, I'm needed the world to stay. Rest in peace to Chadwick, they killed all the Black Panthers. Told us white lies, I still marvel at black answers. Suits in DC, pray it lead to a civil war. It ain't no Justice League, what's the need to be civil for? Propelled like the juggernaut, it's clear ain't no stopping this. The world in grave danger, who can stop the apocalypse? They killed all the heroes, the new ones don't really care. But if you need me, put your fist up in the air. Yeah, in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black.
Hello, it's Thursday evening. How was your week? Week ain't over yet, but guess what? It's a short week. Thank you for tuning in to Blurred's Eye View. I'm your man on the wall, the man up north, Chris Fury. I am here with my crew. Let's start getting them in here. Let's start with the lady of the house, Kira B. What's going on, Kira?
Hi, good evening, everybody. How are you doing?
Right.
I appreciate the updated intro with Hold the Line for Water Daddy. I appreciate you representing my undying love for the water.
I pay attention to the team. I pay attention to the needs, and I'm here to provide. Before we go any further, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for showing your support on the YouTube channel, the IG page, and the Facebook page. Keep that energy going. You can find us all over the internet. You can find us all over the places where you listen to all your podcasts, where you can piss your boss off because we're making you laugh and we're giving you the news as only we can. And I couldn't do a lot of this without the third team member, our own very own cinematic assassin. We'll be watching. What's going on, Will?
Hey, I don't mean to derail the show right away. But a little peek behind the camera, a little peek behind the curtain, if you will. I always have like something going on in the background just to help my brain sort of not focus on too many things at once. Y'all ever seen Legend of Tarzan with Alexander Skarsgård?
Yes.
Actually, that was on last night.
Yeah, I hadn't. I just looked up. I was like, who is this white man beating the hell out of these native looking people? This is why I got to get this off. This is troublesome.
It's not the right look.
And Sam Jackson was in it too, and I was just like, there is so much wrong with this right now.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Oh man,
Speaking of chaotic neutral.
Right, we got chaotic. Hey, it's what it is. It's what villains do. Chaotic neutral. We got our 14 member, the man of the squared circle, the Black Fox, the other Will.
I feel like it should be a duality thing. The other Will. As I literally look, I should just go into an immediate monologue of evil just now. No. Hey, what's going on, everybody?
You gotta hit him with this. You gotta hit him with.
I feel like I should just turn around with the white cat and just come around the corner just like this and be like, "Good evening." No, hey, everybody. With that being said, of course, I am Will, and yes, if you are wondering, I am in between locticians, so bear with the brother. I know right now the locks is looking a little messed up, but just bear with me. That's all I ask.
Oh man, we have a special guest with us tonight, but we can't go further without inviting our family in. All the way live from MagFest, Navy Montel in the building.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's happening?
Yes, once again, the Frosty Bearded Blurticorn on location at MagFest. I'm currently back in my room because the reception in the Gaylord is trash, and people are loud because you got games on one side, you have music on the other. So trust me, you heard
typical convention goer. Montel, I did it at BlurCon. Montel also has the PSA. It's called Water and Irish Spring and deodorant. Degree, secret, whatever. Just learn to use them liberally.
When you come into the venue smelling like Fritos, you need to leave.
Like sauerkraut and bad decisions.
Oh man! So we have a special guest tonight. He's here to talk about his voice work. He's here to talk about his toy photography, which is dope, and he's definitely here to talk about tabletop gaming, especially D&D, and the inclusion of POCs in the fantasy realm, because that's what we're all about, is inclusion and representation. So, without further ado, we got Wendel Chewy Robinson in the building. What's going on?
Hey, hi, hello, greetings and salutations.
What's everybody? How's it going?
What's happening? Hey, real quick, gang. Look, I don't pay y'all to do that for a long time, so I just need y'all to calm it down just a little bit. I might just give you a bag of Fritos. Send you home. All right. Good? You're solid? All right. Very good. You're solid. All right.
We're not doing that. No.
Sounds like a threat.
Oh, my God. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the news real quick, and we're going to get to our guests. So we're doing this one without pictures. Dave Bautista lit out yesterday because, normally I'm about the visuals. But Dave Bautista just released yesterday. He did an interview. He was talking about he was glad that he was done playing Drax for the new Guardians film. He said he didn't want it to be his legacy. He wants to do more dramatic roles. I commend him for that. He said he didn't want to be sort of like typecast like The Rock. And I'm like, my guy, was that like shots fired or something? I don't know.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, now's the right time. Homeboys, there's blood in the water for Mr. Johnson.
That part.
Yeah. So he said he's grateful for playing the role, which we all loved him for. I still would have loved to see a spinoff of Drax and Mantis adventures, because let's face it, if you haven't seen the Christmas special that's on Disney Plus, absolutely hilarious to see those back and forth. But he said he's grateful for the role, but there's a relief that it's over. It wasn't all pleasant, I can imagine, because of all the body paint he has to go through, extensive hours of body paint and contacts. He said the makeup process was beating me down, and I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. It's a silly performance, and I want to do more dramatic stuff. And my guy, to be honest with you, you're getting into those roles. He's slowly
I
getting
mean,
into those roles.
I mean, Glass Onion was one of those. I mean, you saw a different type of character he was playing, and I think even that Snyder movie he actually played different. It was like a semi-serious character. So I give him props.
Yeah.
And there's another movie coming out with him soon where he's playing on a really creepy side.
Oh, what is it? Cabin at the cabin? Knock at
Oh
the
yeah, Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
Only thing is,
Blade Runner, right?
Oh
he
yeah.
was, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though that Knock at the Cabin
go
is
ahead
the
and
M. Night
believe that.
Shyamalan Ding Dong movie, and
It's
M.
M. Night
Night
Shyamalan. He's got his win-loss record right now. Needs to work. He needs to work.
There's that balance again.
That's my man. That's my man. Shamalama Ding Dong. That's exactly what I call it.
Oh, I was like, it's a balance. Speaking of The Rock, he has been ruffling feathers over at Warner Brothers, and when I say ruffling feathers, he was going over the WB executive's head and going to the head man because he wanted to run the DC branch.
Ew, absolutely not.
No.
So
Absolutely.
it was already blood in the water.
You mean you mean Black Adam, not all.
No, he wanted to run the the whole thing.
My guy, you're bugging. You're wild.
Unfortunately, he is considered a closet comic fan. All he talked about was portraying Black Adam, but he never talked about anything else comic wise.
Mm-hmm.
So no. You great for the eyebrow and the elbow, but guess what? No,
he was all them wins he had. He had
in the iron prison or whatever the hell it is. And just keep clanging and banging.
Keep your role, man. Just stay in your lane. I know you're profitable with the liquor and your cheat days. I hate you. And
I mean, he got the
those are legendary cheat days that man has. I'm like, good. God Almighty, I couldn't.
I mean, he's got.
I don't want him in charge of the universe, but like he stayed 10 toes down for 15 years. I feel where he's coming from. Like I'm something. Like I'm gonna flip some tables or something while I leave up out of here.
Not like that. Not after what is it? Jumanji? Nah, B, you not getting DC off of Jumanji and Jumanji. Ain't no way.
This was just the first time The Rock took an L. Let's just be honest. I mean, if you rather think about it, almost everything he's been in has been moderately successful to hugely successful. So it's weird to see him take an L for once.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. San Andreas did okay. Rampage did okay. And I say okay in the sense I say okay in the moderate sense.
Are you giving him a track record for mid movies? Is that what we're doing here?
I can, yes, Kira. I can. It was mid, but it was profitable. I will go ahead and say that.
Cool.
But
Jumanji too.
Yeah, it was mid but profitable. But this is the first time we've ever seen The Rock, take on a major project on this scale and fall hard. I mean, like I said, we haven't seen him fall this hard since WWE. So
they didn't have him in his khakis in a jungle. That's the formula: khakis, jungle, Rock,
Smolder. You forgot the Smolder.
Almost every movie he was in was
Smolder.
I'm mad about that. Will, how you gonna sit there and I was like, son of a, you're right. Every movie he was in.
Oh my god!
I don't like the fact that he took an L on a nerdy property. See, that's where I have my problem. And I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
But you took an L when everything else to me, which was mid to super mid, made you money, and you come over here.
That's a term.
Yes, there is a such thing as super mid. Super mid. Okay.
Yeah.
Faster than a pun, more powerful than my ex-wife. Yeah, that's super mid.
Wow.
I
said what I said.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't negate that. I don't know. I thought that the hiring of James Gunn was pretty much it should be the sign of better things to come. Let's just I know. Yeah. I think there's still some guppies in the water that's trying to make names for themselves. I don't know where this. Let's just hope it's just a rumor because, good Lord, they were very stern on how they worded this. They said the WB executives are open to keeping Ezra Miller around as the Flash.
You could be open if you want to.
James
You
Gunn.
better cast him as Solomon Grundy because he's crazy.
Right.
Yes. Now James Gunn has not once mentioned the Flash in any kind of future project at all, which is a smart move. One, because he says I'm concentrating on a blueprint, and right now I need to worry about step one. I'm not worried about that. That's not in my plans. More than Gal Gadot might still have a job because he never once said that he.
I think he's.
Someone said that they were getting rid of Wonder Woman. He's like, I never said I was booting.
Right. He
Gal
did
Gadot.
say that.
You know, is in her circle, Diana's
In her last
pretty much immortal. You know,
yeah,
you can get that off.
Yeah,
but Ezra, nah.
Ezra gotta go, man.
That boy radio.
Look, I'm a villain. That dude's a menace. There's a difference.
All I can say is, what PR team did he hire to pull off this rice cake warrior miracle? That's what I want to know.
Will loves that term. He loves.
I love that term profusely.
There's got to be alabaster warrior. He has something on someone. Like I hope this isn't true. I really do. For the
he got dirt. He got dirt on somebody.
Yeah. If this is solid, this is scary. Because see, now but see, this is why I'm glad they said the executives, no one else. The executives, they just push the money. They push the cash. You know, they call a shot and either it goes, most of the time it goes through, other times not so much, you know, and that's where the directors are like, yeah, no, you know, James Gunn is running this thing. And look, if you want to keep stuff together, that's who you need to keep happy. He's already given you some wins. So let's not stamp out the fire.
As was said, don't mess with church's money.
And Chris, I remember talking about this before and stating this is the perfect opportunity for them to bring in fresh blood and new talent as you're bringing in these new characters. Stop using these established stars because we've seen them before. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you've been goofy, you've been stupid, you've been this. Okay, be that elsewhere. Let's bring in some new blood. Okay, I want to see what else you can do with the talent that's out there. Quit being scared. You already told us that you're reckless as it is anyway. So let's go ahead and get something going where you're creating a legacy. You're trying to compete with Marvel and trying to do a do-over? Quit being scared. What are you scared about? You already cast
that's why
you wanted Superman. I mean, obviously you're not scared.
Yeah, that's why that call that Jason Momoa got, he was excited about, and I'm like, my guy, it's Lobo, isn't it? You say you can't say, but it's we know it's Lobo. and I mean, let's face it, when he got cast as Aquaman, I'm like, that's different, considering the fact how we see Aquaman. I'm like, that's different, but okay, let's see how he plays it. He didn't play it wrong. It was just a different take. But everyone was like, dude, you should have been Lobo.
Yeah.
Like from the giddy up. And they were, once, like you said, Montel, they were scared. Like Gunn isn't scared.
No,
he's giving you.
He knows people want to see these people. Number one, people are tired of the same wheelhouse. The same good guy gets it. You know, he's perfect. He's this embodiment of perfection. Nobody. We know that. We know. Like James wants to show flawed. He loves a flawed character. He loves somebody who can't quite figure out how to make this problem right. And so you've got to bring in. You actually do have to bring in a team of people to help you get that. Maybe they're not as perfect as, you know, the Justice League. That builds character. That builds a story. That makes me want to say, well, hell, I don't know how the hell are they going to get out of this? They don't have any. They're not impervious to bullets. Like it's. I say all this to say I really, 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 really want James Gunn to give Marvel hell, and this is coming from a Marvel fan. I want it. I can't wait.
I'm one of those ones where I want both houses to win.
Mm-hmm. When
I
both
want
houses win, we all win.
Yeah, like it's not a competition for us. It's like, look, everybody can win. Do you understand? Everybody can win at this. Like, oh, you may not like Captain America, but you're gonna love Peacemaker. You know, which now look, and in my opinion, still probably one of the best intros that's out there to a television show out there.
I have it as my gym, as it's in my gym music rotation.
No shame, no shame.
I'm not judging.
So yeah, I have faith in what Gunn is deciding, because once again, he's giving you obscure, he's giving you different, he's giving you character. Hell, the Suicide Squad, although it had Harley Quinn in it, it wasn't focused on Harley.
And that was
he gave her moment in the sun, and then he walked away. He said, "No, we're gonna talk about all of these other people that's on this squad and deal with it. We're gonna kill off the ones you wouldn't expect."
That was the best part of that entire thing, is that the whole setup of who you thought the Suicide Squad was versus the opposite side of it. And ladies and gentlemen, we call that story writing.
That's it.
Oh my god! He did what is it? Psycho. He psychoed an action movie.
Yeah. He was like, oh, when you find out literally finding out the cast that he had, and I'm like, that's a lot of big names. Like, who's pulling out on this? I'm like, who's pulling out? I thought Nathan Fillion was pulling out. I wasn't expecting that. Captain Boomerang, I wasn't expecting that.
Before you got your popcorn.
Right. I'm like, oh, Boomerang is going to be fine.
Oh.
And that was the beauty. That was the beauty of it. Nobody was safe. And that's right. And that was the feeling that we need to have with the Suicide Squad, that no one was safe.
And it was such a herring, because it's like, dude, you put Starro in the movie.
Which I thought was fucking amazing.
It was beautiful. How did you pull that off?
No one knew about unless you knew the comics, and
it wasn't even so much. It wasn't so much the major focus. It was just like, here's this is the big bag, but that's not really what we're concerned about. We're talking about all these guys. And then you're looking at Peacemaker taking out Rick Flag, didn't see that coming, and realizing you have this hate for him. Then the show comes out, and you're just like, oh.
But it was such a beautiful catalyst to it, though. I mean, you thought when you first saw it, it's like, oh, that's real messed up. And then you, like you said, you see Peacemaker and that whole background of it. I'm like, this was beautiful. This was beautiful, long storytelling from a movie to a television series. That's like, you went from hating Peacemaker to kind of like, I see where the little break's coming from.
Yeah. In other DC news, the Arrow is coming up on its final seasons, premiering in February.
Flash.
Yeah. Flash, sir. I'm looking at Arrow. That's why. Because Stephen Amell is appearing. I don't know how they're pulling this off.
Wasn't he dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the Spectre.
Yeah, he became the Spectre.
He became the Spectre.
Yeah. He's making a comeback. I'm not opposed to it, because Stephen Amell was probably the best Arrow we've had so far.
Yeah.
So
Diggle, because he was a flawed hero.
Yes,
he was flawed. We could understand. We could relate to all of the bull.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. So yeah, he's returning. Kid Flash is returning. Bloodwork is returning. In the meantime, I'm just sitting like, where's Cisco? I need Cisco before this show ends. Yes. I need the original trio back together again.
I think Vibe saw the end and was like, I'm cool. I think Vibe saw the end and was like,
Cisco, I need Cisco really did make the comedy work. Well, besides that episode where Barry and Oliver switch bodies, now that was hilarious. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna talk to our guests, Wendel Chewy Robinson. We're gonna talk about his voice work, D&D, and his toy photography. So we'll be right back. Running low on energy, long days and even longer nights. Tired of all the other energy drinks and bars promise you a lot and never delivering? Need to make it through work, but want a product that can keep up with your busy lifestyle? Want no longer? Try Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls. The balls that are so smooth and with a load of nutrients and vitamins to really get you up and bouncing off the walls. Made with all natural ingredients and healthy junk to satisfy even the pickiest eater. Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls are sold everywhere where you buy your junk. And now, for those who want that extra kick in the butt, comes Chef's Heavy Duty Chocolate Salty Balls with 120% more caffeine than the leading brand. Disclaimer, this product has not been approved by the FDA or World Health Association. Warning, this product is not intended for consumption by children, elderly people, or women who are pregnant or may become pregnant. You might even get pregnant. 2 tablesticks of butter. All right.
Every time I see that old man dancing at the end of it, I think of Chris when he gets
That's Deacon Brown.
70s.
That's Deacon Brown. He reminds me of the old man from. He reminds me of that old man from Big Mama's house. He reminds me of the old man from Big Mama's house, hitting on Martin in the fat suit. We have our very esteemed special guest, Wendel Chewy Robinson. He's going to hear. We are talking about tabletop gaming, D&D, toy photography, which I absolutely love, and some voice work he's doing. So let's talk to you. Let's introduce yourself there, Wendel. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about it.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Basically, with the D&D, I've been playing D&D for about 20 some odd years. Started around when I was in college. It's honestly bubbled into, I'm more or less a DM now. We call ourselves forever DMs, people that are just kind of stuck in facilitating the game more so than being a player, because honestly, it's really easier to find people who want to play as opposed to finding somebody who actually is going to be able to facilitate a full game, especially if you know a lot more about the game than the people that you find. I'm sure Navy Model understands, that is essentially what I do with D&D. Voice acting. I'm not really a formal voice actor. It's really just me dabbling and learning, as you see on my social media. I basically play around with various voices, various, not really cultures, but accents, I would.
Did we lose him?
So did he pause for
Just a glitch?
Because with D&D, obviously you have orcs, elves. Oh, I'm back. Sorry. I was just saying with the necessarily not races, but species in D&D, you've got, not just humans, you've got orcs, celestial beings, and things like that, and they all definitely have different sounds and different vernaculars, different vocabularies even. And with my art, toy photography, and things like that, basically, I'm just trying to make the toys do more than what they do more than just sitting around, and then show some artistic expression along with that. And I have tried to usually put a message in there, a hidden message in there, put some motivation, some words of affirmation, especially out there for POCs. Because I know as far as Black artists, it's really hard to get your material out there. Obviously, people usually go towards Caucasian artists for their work usually. That about sums it up, I believe.
I find it endearing and amazing that when I see people of color that's into tabletop gaming, because it's something I always wanted to dabble in myself, which from what I've been told, you don't really dabble, you dive, and that's just, you're just in it. Once you're in, you're in. It's similar to being a comic book collector and collecting action figures. It's like, once you're in, you're in. You're like, you don't back out. You take a break, you take a breather, but you're never done. It's like being in the mafia, I guess. So how did you get started in D&D?
D&D essentially, it's pretty crazy. I know you mentioned as far as POCs and the gaming space. I'm sure a lot of blurs understand that D&D very much seems like a white man's game. It really is. A lot of tables are usually whitewashed, white centric. Honestly, a coworker I was talking to not too long ago mentioned that when they first went into a game store as a young child, and they went towards what is usually the D&D section is usually just cordoned off. There's usually like a curtain or something separating them from the rest of the game store. It's more of a private affair. Right. It's kind of ridiculous. It really is. Well, it kind of is. But the game store employees, they almost kind of they kept them from entering the room, and they didn't allow them to even ask questions about the game. And that's sort of the vibe that you get when you're a person of color and you ask certain people questions about the game. It's very Eurocentric, if you will. And I was asked by another POC individual who honestly felt like they were the only person at their table. So they honestly wanted to bring more POCs to their table. They asked me, they asked a couple other individuals just to really sort of darken up their table. And that was back in college, around 18 or so. And I started out as a player in, I want to say, oh man, I don't believe it was 5th edition back then. And that's the thing, there's different iterations of the game. But yeah, that's how I got invited. Essentially, someone just trying to create a more POC-centric table.
See, now I know Martel, who's family here. Navy Martel, he's a big tabletop gamer. At BlurredCon, he's running the game room, and I've been privy to watching. It's like wow, like I didn't even feel awkward. I felt at home, you know. So you know, so it's like it's all different forms of tabletop gaming. There's dice, there's cards, there's, like you said, Dungeons and Dragons. So Martel, I know he has some input on that as well. What do you think, Martel?
Well, I started playing D&D when I was in high school, so that was 1984. So that was wow, that was still version 2.0, and I was the only person of color in my group. And mind you, I was a noob. So for me, it was a grand thing. And I didn't feel awkward, and I didn't feel any type of, the ostracizing. But I did feel like there could be more of us. But when I mentioned bringing other people into it, it became a hush hush sort of evolution. Like, oh no, we like you, so we're gonna bring you in. And I thought, well, what's wrong with bringing other people in? You're basically playing pretend on pen and paper, which is what we all grew up doing anyway. It was all we're all playing make believe as kids. All they're doing now is making it structured. So, and as time grew on, and I'm happy to say, as time has continued on, we're seeing more of an inclusion of people of color, of all walks of life, and everything into the game. But it was, to me, it was always an elitist mindset that kept it so hush hush and so secret. Like, oh, you're not worthy. You can't be a part of it. Well, why not? I have an imagination. I can bring something to the table. I can be a part of the adventure. Why can't I be a part of it? And it was that elitist mindset that kind of drove me crazy. So that's why I continue to crusade like I have been. You want to play? Cool, come on, let's go. I don't even care what you are. That's why at BlurredCon, it doesn't matter who you are. You want to play? We got a space at the table for you. Sit down. You got any dice? No problem. I'll pour out all 7 bags of dice. Pick your set. Take it home with you. Don't give it back to me. I'm going to throw it right back at you. Okay? I don't want your dice no more. They ain't mine no more. They're yours. But that's always been the big thing. And Chewy makes a valid point. Some people will include us just to bring color to the table without ever looking at the content of our character or what we can bring as far as our imagination to this game. It's a sad thing. And some of the best tables I've sat at are all black folk. Why? Because all bets are off. We can act a fool, and we can have that game, have that adventure, and that joker won't last 6 to 7 years. Sure, you know what I'm talking about, sir. You know what I'm talking about. Those campaigns that last for 20 years. Well, when we last left off, I had to go to the bathroom, and you guys were facing a league of displacer beasts. So what were you gonna do? I'm gonna have a snack, bruh. I want this to be over.
Is there a tavern close by?
So I know, like with the success of Stranger Things and seeing Lucas, number one, seeing that type of representation was awesome. Number two, it was never out of place. They never made him feel like he was out of place. They never made him feel different because he was the black kid that was playing D&D. If anything, it was his sister Erica that, you know, shunned him, you know, and then it turns out she's just as good as he is, you know, if not better. And
even better, honestly.
Even better.
Definitely better.
It's totally definitely better. Like in one night better. So when you see that type of representation, when you see are you thinking we've arrived? Are you thinking that this is how it should be? Like, you know, it should be like comics is for everybody. It's just for everybody. So when you see stuff like that, when you see that inclusion, you know, it's great when it's amongst our own, and because we're not thinking that way. We're like, we're playing the game, you know, but when you're amongst the counterparts, you know, is your hair standing on end? Like when you started out?
It really was. Honestly, it really was, because you like it was mentioned before, you get this sort of vibe that honestly, just you as a person, don't be yourself when you come here. We want you to be just like everybody else at this table. Once again, Eurocentric characters. So don't bring any African culture here. Don't bring any Puerto Rican culture here. Don't bring anything else. We just want UK, Irish, all that. You know, and it is great to see, especially in major media, a Netflix original, let alone Stranger Things, massive show, that the best player is not only a black person but a black woman, because it is also a very sexist game in some scenarios as well, as I've been told from other women.
Tell me about
it. Kira's eyes got bigger than the screen.
You're about to testify.
So I know there was an article recently that was released that was talking about getting rid of I guess races, or deeming it not racist but races in the game. And I found that a little interesting, because I didn't think it was that kind of an issue when it came to that, and apparently it is. And so, speak on it, Kira.
Give me a minute. I'm letting them get it out.
So, you know, to see people like Erica, pretty much, you know, I was just here for the little black girl owning them. That's what I was here for. I was here for it. But when you see articles coming up again, I mean, I came up in an era where they were like, Dungeons and Dragons is bad. It's the devil. It's doing this. And I'm like, okay, everything's the devil, isn't it? The cartoon got canceled because parents were scared, you know, and and seeing that type of interaction now, do you think it's more acceptable? Do you care at this point?
Definitely don't care, but I do. I'm still gonna play either way. That's the thing. I think it's the best game ever. I really do. You can do just about anything. It's the most immersive game. You're basically customized the game. Everybody creates the game together. There's no getting around it. It's the best one. But no, I really don't care. I do think the Satanism stigma is always going to stay, because religion is always going to be in the foreground of especially American culture, even though they don't say it. It really is. And I just, you know, I think it's gotten better, definitely since then. But right, it will usually be a problem with certain people that just disagree with this as a whole, just because it's fiction that dabbles in taboo things, really. So I think that just carries the stigma in itself, really.
Kira, you said you wanted to say something.
Oh,
I love when Kira gives her
that
piece.
That is an understatement. I got my snack,
because I'm here for Kira's pieces. I'm here.
Where is my cup of tea?
We have
and Kira without her wine.
I know we had a guest or two guests tonight, so I figured I should lay off on that a little bit.
I'm
Be a
drinking the
little
cold wine because I don't want to miss a thing.
But no, I find it fun. It's, you know, especially when you hear that there's known celebrity circles who play D&D.
Yes.
You know, when you're just like, oh wow, it's not just the comics, it's ingrained in actual culture. You know, the tabletop community has been around for a very long time, and to see, like I said, Montel, he runs the gaming room at BlurCon, so to see our people doing this, and then you see people like Jasmine LaFleur, who runs Black Fayday, and having this inclusion in fantasy, and to the point where it's not even inclusion, like we're creating our own space, we're creating our own worlds, we're creating our own stories and myths and legends, and you're just like, we don't need that over there now. It's like we got this over here. You know, when you see shows like Rings of Power, you know, including a black princess dwarf or a black queen, you know, who and House of the Dragon, you know, where like the strongest navy belongs to the Valerians who are black. So, you know, you're just like, we're tipping the scale now, because now we're making them see us, and you have it's not even a choice anymore. It's just like, no, it needs to be. It just needs to be, because we didn't just appear. If you know, we just didn't appear out of anywhere. We were always around. It was like, it was just either that's how you perceived things, because we'll never know. Some of the writers are long gone, you know, for a lot of these fantasy stories, so we'll never know. But the way people are putting it, like in Hollywood, is how they perceived it. Hunger Games, perfect example. You know, perfect example. You know, and when they were just saying olive skin, I'm like, that looks nothing like a person of any color. If anything, it's void of color, and I'm confused. You know, so and hearing people, you were bullying a little black girl, for Christ's sake, come on. And so
kids outsmarting all of them.
Right. So when you see the tipping of the scales, whether it's in D&D, whether it's in the comics realm, whether it's in the fantasy realm of any form, do you feel like our time is not only here, but it's always been here?
I mean, it's definitely not always been here. I mean, especially when you look in the comics, they didn't even have a color that actually represented us. In the beginning, we were gray. We all looked like Grey Hulk. That's insane. That some people don't even know that. When I tell people to this day, they're no, that's not true. You're just making that up. That's a joke, right? No, this is very true. Here you go. Look at it. But no, I think things have changed. Things have changed greatly. Not to bring up a bad experience again, but Black Adam. Look at Black Adam. We had a colorblind cast, essentially. Several characters on that team should have been white, but they were black. So that alone, the fact that the company that very much seems right-winged allowed that to happen is that alone.
I mean, he ain't lying, though.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Go for it. You ain't lying.
I mean, that's a huge step forward. That's a huge step forward, and I think things are going to progressively change from here. I really do.
Cinematic Assassin, we'll be watching. What do you got?
Montel touched on it earlier. I just need something explained to me a little bit. The dice, like,
oh my god,
what's the deal? Like, it seemed like you can have, I don't know, 100 different sets of dice, and like, how many can you actually play with at once? Like, what's help me understand.
Oh, okay. I think Chewy would definitely. I want to let Chewy explain.
Kira's got dice.
I don't have my Big Bertha. But my little friends, they are all shapes and sizes. They're gorgeous.
Let me put her up there so she can show off her dice there. Our very own Vanna Black, everybody.
I left my dice in the car.
My last one.
Wait. Hold that set back up. Hold that set back up.
Hold on. It's
Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So now, because Will's got me curious now. So, what is the significance of the die? What they're 7-sided, correct? Well, there are some 7-sided sets.
There are multiple.
They're all different sides, actually.
Yeah.
Right. They're all different sides. You've got
you want to call out a couple? I'll
D20,
show
D6, D10. Yeah, go ahead. The main one you usually roll is your D20. That's going to usually be the dice that essentially decides whether or not you succeed or fail. Essentially, the way I usually play, everything's decided on dice. Everything. Your stats essentially assist the dice roll, but it doesn't matter if you're very dexterous or not. If you roll, say, a 1. On my table, that's automatic fail. I don't care what your modifier is. There might even be a consequence depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do some elaborate thing like a triple backflip with a twist and all of this, and you get a 1, and I might
tripped
spray
over a pebble on the ground as you were coming off of the ground.
Right, exactly.
I would never thought
that. You're quadriplegic for the rest of the game.
No.
So everything gambles on the.
So everything dirty in my house. I don't care.
So everything is on the fate of the die. Is basically
exactly.
Wow.
Yes.
It's technically gambling. You're right.
And what's funny about that is the D20 is the principal die out of all of them, because this determines especially when you're going into battle, this determines the order of turns or order of battle, especially if you're in a group. So the higher your number, the sooner you go to battle. But if you roll a low number, especially if you're dealing with a bunch of like a pack of monsters, and you have a party of 6, and you roll, now you got to go. It'll go hero, monster, and you're going to take damage before you even get smacked in the face.
Right.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you thought Monopoly was a problem, D&D at your house is going to be an issue.
No. I'll tell you straight up. Anyone who plays Monopoly and thinks that game is cutthroat has never played D&D.
D&D makes Monopoly look like kindergarten.
Friendships in the room end with how you play in this game.
You are not wrong.
How long does a normal, we'll say, because you mentioned earlier, Wendell, that they can continue like forever. Like it's just literally you start tonight, that game ain't finished. Like you got to come back, right?
No,
usually. No,
it's weeks, my guy. It's weeks. At best, it's weeks.
It is weeks. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Wendell.
Sure. Unless you're doing a one shot.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
because that's how I got introduced to D&D was one shots, because I wouldn't learn how to play, and they're like, "Oh, well, you can do this one shot." I said, "Okay," and asked all my questions. They're like, "Oh, what do you want to?" I was like, "How do you?" It's like This is the reason why I love D&D, because number one, outside of a lot of groups, they are the nicest people that you can bug them with 100 questions. Nobody gets aggravated with you, because I know I did that my first time. My first time I played D&D, I did a one shot. I was asking 20 different questions while I had my stat sheets in front of me. And like, okay, well, I could be I could be a fighter or a rogue. They looked at me and they all looked at me and said, fighter. Both. Okay. I went with what the table said. You want to be a fighter? Oh, okay, cool. But no, one shots. I think ours was 2-3 hours max.
Yeah,
that's short.
But I mean, one shot will run about 3 hours, and that will get you from the door back to town with all your treasure, all your booty.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
My wife is willing to go in on this.
I think you could get her in this, dude.
think I'm gonna have to figure something
It's
out.
a family. I promise you, D&D is
It's a family.
game.
It's family game night.
Family game.
It is.
It's family game night that'll test you.
100%.
I would put it to you like this. Think about telling a story, except you get to determine where they go, what they see, what they hear, and what they do. All they have to do is decide from a number of choices that they have. You're in a setting. You hear this sound. You smell this. You see this creeping in the dark. What do you want to do? I want to see what's in the dark. Okay, give me roll a d20 for me. Okay, yeah, you're going inside, and that's how the game goes. You're giving them choices, and you're making them more aware. This helps critical thinking, math skills, reading.
You just told
interaction.
Me the villain.
Oh yeah.
I can literally.
Oh. Do what you want.
I'm going to lord this over them.
Friendship, marriage,
I'll use my best Decker King voice. Do what you will, shall be the whole of the law.
Oh my God. So it is obviously, so Will, you've already answered that you could do one shots as the starter, as to kind of get your feet wet, kind of understand what's going on. But they can go on. What's the longest any of you have ever played a session?
Too long.
Kira's eyes got big as a screen again.
I had an adventure last 5 years.
No, get out.
Yeah.
No.
I had it.
Look at Will. He's just like 5 years. Like,
Wendel,
where you going? We gotta finish this game.
Yeah.
Been in the game for 5 years sounds like a toxic relationship. That's
all.
I cannot. Just
I mean, depending on how you interact with some of the players.
I mean, was money involved?
Oh, don't add another level to it. That's even worse. So when you were last here, you owed me 10. You got in. You didn't cut me in just yet. Oh my God. So it's 5 years. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
people
right.
black in black households, Monopoly doesn't last long enough for the paper money to get lost. I'm sorry. It's like
most of the properties have been picked up.
Most of the properties been picked up. They always want the hat or the car. People mad, bankrupt, broke.
In Monopoly, they're too rudimentary. They're too linear. But in D&D, there's no such thing as linear, because now what you do or what you decide can determine which way the story goes.
Right.
Okay.
In D&D, there are no roads.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. So you've explained how you started. You've explained the inclusion of POCs in the fantasy realm of D&D. Other tabletop games, which I've seen plenty of, but D&D seems to be the most famous of all of them. Magic the Gathering has a good following still.
20 plus years and still killing it.
Yeah, you know, when I see him, I'm like, man, he's, you know, like I see like the game stocks, like the card decks, like at like Walmart, like they sell them at Walmart and everything. Like, so I'm like, oh wow, it's still around. You know, so that's a huge undertaking. Montel, I know you're a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan, so that's another one, you know, and seeing these different levels of gaming, you know, and having POCs involved is just another level of saying we here. We don't care what you're doing. We here right now. What you doing? We here right now. You know, HeroClix. HeroClix is another one. HeroClix is another one. So seeing these different, only different with bless you. The only difference with HeroClix is you're playing with actual DC or Marvel heroes. I don't think Image has anything. I can't remember.
Actually, no. Image did come out with a limited set of Invincible HeroClix.
Okay, that's what I thought I'd seen one before. Warhammer's another one.
I got Omni-Man on my shelf. So
okay, yeah. I know Warhammer's another one, a big one. Warhammer's a big one.
Oh,
Have any of you played any of those? I know, other than Yu-Gi-Oh and D&D, have any of you played? Well, Montel, you probably played HeroClix before then. If you have Omni-Man on your show.
I still play HeroClix. I played that PAX Unplugged. Goodness. I've played Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic. I played Vanguard, Bleach.
Oh,
the Street Fighter. Street Fighter had a card game out. Dragon Ball's got a card game out. Digimon, One Piece. Yeah, when I tell you, yeah.
Pirate King. I'm Straw Hat Gang over here.
That's my deck. I have a Straw Hat deck, so yeah.
Nice.
But
so, what's the worst one to actually play though that you've played?
If you're just getting into it, I wouldn't suggest Yu-Gi-Oh off the bat. I wouldn't suggest Yu-Gi-Oh because, and I'll say this by prefacing it with this: every community is different. Every gaming community is different, and you got to go where your interest is going to go. So if you're into miniatures, you're going to play Warhammer. You're going to play Warhammer Fantasy. You're going to play 40K. You're going to play Necromunda, a bunch of other systems, all tabletop warfighting. If you're into cards, any of the ones that I've named off. If you're into board games, Catan is an excellent start. Catan has been around for years, and a bunch of other ones. Betrayal in the House on the Hill. That game still scared the shit out of me, but I digress. It all depends on where your interest is and who brings you into it, because that's the other thing. And I know Chewy will definitely agree with me on this. Coming into a game is just as important as who brings you into it, because the introduction is everything. If someone brings it to you and they're enthusiastic about it and they want you to see all the good bits and even tell you about the bad experiences, that's the experience that you want, because it's a balanced answer. Instead of someone, yeah, you should just play so and so. Really, why? That's all you get? Nah.
Honestly, yeah, I never believe someone that says nothing but good things about the game, because it's halfway through the game you have to do improv. Everything you plan goes straight out the window because all of a sudden, when you thought they were going to go right, they went left. That happens all the time. So once again, when I hear like it was just 100% grade A, nothing was wrong. No, you're lying. You're not coming back. Sorry. That's honestly normally how I do it. I'm not gonna lie. That's normally how I do it. It's just like I don't believe you at this point. So now I don't know what I need to change. I don't know how to perform for you as a player, because that's the thing. It's interactive. I need to provide you with game just as much as you need to provide me with game. Right? It's a collaborative storytelling effort. I'm the storyteller, right? But I'm more of a guide than a leash for you, if you will.
You're the narrator of the story.
You narrate the story,
right. Exactly. Perfect example.
It struck me because I've never once heard in all my years in hearing about tabletop gaming, I've never once heard the negative community or the toxic community. You know how Star Wars has a bit of a toxic fan base, or DC has a bit of a toxic fan, or even Marvel. I haven't heard the toxic fan base in tabletop gaming. Does that exist?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Easy.
Preach on it, Kira.
Easy. You have people that you have people that don't like their real life, and so it has magically become this oasis for them where they are dominion of all that they survive. It is
so gatekeeping.
No. Oh, you're playing with them. But they dictate almost everything that you do in the game.
Oh, yeah, those DMs.
Oh, that's annoying.
They show their supremacy during the game, regardless of when you start. They are the beyond. They are the pantheon.
Yeah.
They want to show you that they have a shut your ass up. You still live with your mama.
That kind of just sucks the joy out of everything. I'm like, dang,
not everybody can be Eddie Munson. All right, not too soon.
Wow.
He went out like a G.
Oh,
So okay, so it's safe to it's okay. So yes, there is a toxic.
Oh, yeah.
Is it as toxic as? Is it more toxic that is vocal, or is it in their actions? Like you said, Kira, they may not like their real life. They might work at an office job, and the wife bosses them around, and this is their outlet.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I get to be Lex Luthor here. I run everything. And that sounded like more like JJ. I want pictures of Spider-Man. That sounded more like him. But other than that, is it toxic? Like, oh, we don't allow girls to play, or we, anything like that? Is it there? Is it like that?
Mm-mm. Not as much as it was.
yeah.
So okay. Go ahead, Chewy. You said yeah.
I would say that you definitely. I mean, it's a. I mean, I guess maybe I'm in the South. There very much is a lot of He-Man Womanators Club. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So that is very
best way to put it.
here. Maybe it's different, right? Maybe it's different in other areas, but here it very much is like that at a lot of tables.
We don't want a girl.
But my personal right. In my personal experience, I would say that I deal with rule sticklers more so than things like that. People that want to supersede what you're saying. One of the main things in the DM's handbook, within the first few pages, it literally says the DM is in full control of the game, and you can decide if a rule stands or not. So really and truly, final say comes from the DM. If a rule is not going to work well with the storytelling that you have in play, you're going to get rid of it. You're going to say, you're going to allow something to happen that's normally not going to happen. But then sometimes you get a player that's going to, excuse me. And then they start flipping pages and then go exactly to where they can prove that, no, you can't do that because blah, blah, blah. And that everybody just doesn't want to play at that point. Because this person's going to continue to do that throughout every session of the game. And sometimes people accept that. Sometimes people laugh about, oh, it's the rule stickler. But not every table accepts that. Not every table can still have fun with people like that. And then you also get the heavy role players that don't break character. And then sometimes they feel some type of way when you have people who don't even have a different voice from their normal voice. And they try to aim them into role playing. And now, once again, you've got a player that doesn't feel like they're having fun because you're forcing them to play a certain way. And the list, honestly, the list goes on. Different types of toxic.
They don't break rules with the DVD commentary.
No, God, no. They stay until the credits. They stay in character until the credits.
They stay until the credits. They're committed. They're committed and need to be committed. So it sounds like in order to be the best route to be a DM or a dungeon master, for those who are listening, you have to more have a not want to be the one in charge. You just want to be the one that's more like Jon Snow. Like, I'm not looking for control. It landed in my lap.
I did not ask for this.
I would say you want someone that likes to tell a story. And they want to see the story naturally progress, give options, and make everyone feel like they are part of the story. They are the story, not as a side character or NPC. If you ever hear someone say NPC, non-playable character, that means you're not an extra on the movie set. Okay, you are the cast. You are the stars of it, and when you have that type of dungeon master, that type of DM that you can see the glitter in their eye when they're about to start and they give the introduction, you feel that vibe and that energy. You know you're about to go on a journey. Before you know it, 4 or 5 hours have passed by and you have no idea how that happened.
Okay. I like that way how it dresses that up, because It includes everyone.
Oh,
it gives everybody a place. It gives everybody a role, and you don't feel left out. And I actually like. I mean, I've seen it played. I've seen it on television played. I've heard it talk about. We're here talking about it. I've watched it in action, and they're very laser focused. You know, and that's just it. It's I look at it as the equivalent of chess. When you got a good chess player, they're playing chess. They don't care about what's happening over here or over here. Just the game right here. No questions asked. So have you ever, any of you that's played, had someone who they just wasn't into it? They just couldn't get into it, wasn't trying, being difficult.
All of the above.
It's been me sometimes. I
don't have to whine, and I'm sick of this.
I can't say anything because the one shots I did, it was everybody was intrigued. Well, then again, I guess I was the newbie. I take that back. I was the newbie because everybody else knew each other. So I never really felt like, because the whole thing, I kept, like I said, going back to my whole bunch of questions. I'm like, the dungeon master, which like Chewy and Name Until had said, a good dungeon master is going to draw you in. I mean, this dude had me just sitting there like Kira looked at Jason Momoa and was just starstruck. Like, is this dinner theater? Because that's what I was like. Oh, it's like
is she giving the eyebrows right now?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I can't say, because even I was asking questions like, you know, as I do, you know, dungeon master doing different voices, everybody's doing voices. I'm like, can I do it? I'm like, and I guess I must have said it because sometimes my inner monologue and my mouth don't work together. So usually when I sit there and say, when I think I said, can I do this? You just see the dungeon master just lean in and say, yes, Will, you can do this. And I just want to sit there and look at him like, you can read my mind? He says, no, man, you just said it real loud. We just being nice. But that being said, maybe it's only because I have a limited exposure to it that I've never seen anyone have a bad experience or anyone just have a hard time getting into it. It's always been like, everybody just wants to go and see what the DM comes up with. That's what it's always. That's what I've ran into. But then it's just me because I've never had the 5-year campaign. Now I gotta go find a spot that does a 5-year campaign now. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
I mean, that's got to be a good.
Look. Will up top's like he pulling the Shannon Sharp. He was like, skip.
Yeah. I like long drawn out things, especially when you tell me that some games have ran that long. I'm like, oh, that's a fun old time to me. That's like, I have to know what this 5-year journey is.
Man, I have friends of mine who are LARPing Vampire the Masquerade, and they're 6 years strong and still going.
Nice. I do love LARP though. I'm sorry, but no, that's just me.
Well, you know, LARPing
is
generally.
I want to find me an adventure myself.
I'm trying to. It's a movie dealing with that too. Because Peter Dinklage is in it.
Don't ruin the experience, Chris. Don't do it.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the movie.
I know what you're talking about.
Summer Glau was in it. Summer Glau was in it, and Peter Dinklage, and
because the whole thing was about LARPing, and I cannot think of the name of the title.
Yeah, it was like it was an actual demon that showed up some kind of way, and it was something. It was one of those crazy offshoot films.
Great. Now I got to do research on it. Thanks.
Yeah,
appreciate
it was the guy, the main actor in it is from True Blood. He was goofy. No, he was the goofy one. He was the brother. He was.
Mr. Kitsap.
Was it? Wait.
Catacomb. I know he's Australian.
Yes.
My gosh.
Was it Knights of Badassdom?
That's it. That was it.
It was the weirdest title. It's the reason why I know, Kira. My mind is full of useless knowledge. I know, but
no. I was thinking it, and I'm like, when you said it, I'm like, okay, I wasn't wrong when I thought the name. Okay,
yeah. It took me a second because it's such a weird title.
That doesn't sound like a real movie. That is.
It's a real movie.
It's about as real as the pick of destiny. It's in that vein. It's like little.
I just had to look that up just because as a fan of LARPing, I was like, wait a second, I know this movie. It's a weird title to it.
Yeah. Because like Summer Glau, she was like the best LARPer they had there. Plus, she was the cute girl, and everybody was all over. But she was a badass. There's just like no other way to put it. But back to the conversation. So you're D&D DM master, and does that and LARPing, those work hand in hand pretty much, right?
I mean, I guess it would give you a step up because generally DMing, you're playing several characters in a session. So I guess you'd probably be really good at LARPing. In turn, you'd be able to improv whatever character you think of. I guess you'd be very versatile in LARPing, probably. I would assume, yeah.
Because I've seen the play out where it's the role play is about the same, I guess is what I'm saying. Like the DM master makes the rules basically. They're the narrator, they makes the rules. And then in LARPing, the DM master is also the same one who makes the rules and kind of narrates and pushes things in certain directions. So I would say, so you've been D&D player for what, 20, you said 20 years, right?
Roughly, yeah.
20 years. Have you thought about building your own?
Ooh.
I actually have started creating my own world. I started that within a year
I can read
ago.
them. I can read them.
Yeah. It's something I've been working on. Yeah.
Well, don't tell.
I'm very hush hush about it. Right? Yeah, I'm very hush hush.
Don't tell the recipe. We don't know what the Colonel got in the chicken, so no need to tell us what you got in the.
Don't give it away for free.
Trademark it first.
There
right,
you go.
Exactly. Yes, this is the internet. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They'll steal anything. Ask James Cameron.
Ooh.
Kira, am I wrong?
I have to say a word. You said the whole thing. I don't like him anyway, but that's okay.
Will's just like, how did we get here? Easy.
Man, that was very range.
That's how you come full circle. That's come full circle.
So life always finds a way. No
lies have been told.
So what is so you've already said that you're creating a whole new world. Can you say what's in this world? Like as far as is it black fays? Is it orcs or black orcs or what do you have?
It's actually, I intend to try to create a more isolated Fey realm that has sort of made its way into the Forgotten Realm. So it's going to be heavy. Yeah. It's going to be a heavy.
Jasmine would have a blast.
It's going to be a heavy Fey-centric new country that, as far as everyone else can tell, has appeared out of nowhere in the Forgotten Realms. I guess I could say I want to put it within a sort of dormant volcanic crater, mixed with a very massive, colossal treant that is within the middle of that said crater, and that's going to play a very huge role in things that go on within this
I have just
city.
Envisioned that entire thing just now.
Very pretty.
I have a hell of an imagination.
He has
I might
created
need to
a
put you.
creative of life. I love
He
it.
did.
I love it.
I did. I might have to put you in contact with Jasmine because she is all about the phase. She runs Black Fae Day. She's all about the phase. So having these worlds exist is something special. Here on this show, on this platform, we always talk about, we should be the leads in these fantasy realms, these sci-fi realms, these adventure realms, and it feels good knowing that people like yourself, who are the creatives, who are putting some of this work out here and creating these worlds and creating these spaces and creating the platforms to say, hey, we don't necessarily need that. when we have this. And a lot of times when we have this, it's a lot better. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't just saying that. Like, said it on the last show. We get stuff and we turn it into gold. It's just
put a little bit of seasoning on it. Anything is improved.
A lot of seasoning.
Look. Even Thanos was making grits over there on that farm. I know. I know how that man was making grits. I'm like, oh yeah,
I know what we feel in this one.
I'm from the southern part of Titan.
Still will, okay. We need Will.
Thanos making grits.
Will, okay.
Oh man, so Wendel, before we get out of here, what is next for you besides this creation of this fantasy realm?
Honestly, I think I'm going to throw my hat in the podcast ring. I think just going over information with D&D, going over the changes that they're trying to make for the POC community, because they say they're trying to make them. I think there needs to be a more analytical sense on it to maybe light a fire under their rear ends, because I don't feel it. Citadel of Radiance really feels like the most cultural pre-made module that they've ever come out with, and that was like within the past few months. So I mean, I don't really know. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to try to do.
The more I mention tabletop gaming to people, the more people are saying you should do it, and I'm like, I need a section of my life to do it. I was like, as much I would love to do it, though.
Sir, I will tell you this: you will find the time. You will.
We can only show you the way.
When you find it, you will cultivate it. Okay. You will get your custom DM dice. I can see you doing it now.
Look, I've been at conventions where I'm looking. Those are just nice dice to have. Those look nice.
Yeah, it's an addiction sometimes. Watch out.
Yeah, it will draw you in.
It will draw you in. Cheeseburgers in them, okay? Let's go.
Walking around looking like Hustle Man with the trench coat on. He's like, "What you got, Chief?" You know. Wow. That was my best Tracy Morgan. Oh man. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna let my man Chewy go ahead and tell everybody where they can find him.
Oh, thank you so much. Mainly, I will say Instagram. Instagram is the best place to find me. Right there at Riken FEC. I post, like I said, basically the learning process that I've been going through, and just with D&D, with my art, with voice acting. Feel free to DM me with any questions. I'm always open to talk.
My guy, you always got a home here. But before I do that, gotta give it to our brother in arms, Navy Montel. If you don't know where to find this brother at right now, I don't know what else to tell you, because he seems to be everywhere.
As we open the tome, we used to be called a phone book. I'm just kidding.
Dude.
But you can find me on Instagram and Twitter under Navy Montel. The Blur the Corn combos are coming back. I am looking forward to get it because I got a whole slew of guests. Matter of fact, one of them is on this amazing podcast going on here, so they know who they is because they've been like, "Why did they be on the show?" It's all right.
Trust me, they will have fun.
And you can find me on YouTube and on Twitch under Rose the Catnip. I've got a series of interviews I did with PAX Unplugged folks, especially when I did it with Rivals of Waterdeep, my friend Tanya DePass and the crew. It was amazing. So come check me out.
Cool. Lady of the house, Kira B.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. No, I'm kidding. But also no, but seriously, no, thank you for having me. So I'm Kira Brown. I am also known as, I will be known as Lady Mandalore. I
have to change the intro for the season. No longer the child of Mandalore, lady.
No, I'm a lady. Um,
Oh, no.
I have oh, wait, what happened? What did I miss?
Oh
What did I miss?
no.
Am I just kidding? I've got a podcast on Spotify called Child of Mandalore. It's only 2 episodes in. Catch up. I can also be found on Instagram under Roomful of Blurs. All the words spelled out like it is at the bottom here. I'm on the Twitter. If you subtract the O's from Roomful of Blurs, that's where you'll find me. Also on Fanbase, I have a room every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Said,
More to come sooner or later. Maybe another podcast.
Oh man, our cinematic assassin will be watching. What's going on?
Yes, sir. The Cinematic Assassin, as he said, will be watching. You can find me mainly on IG, Twitter, and the YouTube at Mayhem Media, MAYEHEM Media. Come through if you like movie news, TV news. We got skits coming. We got reviews coming. And I have a really crippling Funko addiction. If that's something that interests you, I do unboxings. I do going into debt very well. So come through, have a good time.
Crippling addiction. Addiction is for quitters.
Listen, hey, yo, we gotta talk. What you got to trade, man?
Listen, arm's reach.
Oh my god!
Oh Lord!
Oh my god!
Nice.
Oh, that's not a problem. That's heroin.
Just arm's reach.
That's our heroin right there, man. No, you got problem. We got
this man is burdened with glorious purpose.
I was gonna say I thought I was bad, but apparently I'm not.
You win. Whatever.
So all my Marvel Legends and now DC stuff, you guys are fine. Like,
Chris is validated.
The only pops I have are 2 Stan Lees and the rest are Black Panthers and Jane Cobb.
Yeah, y'all was talking about this being addicting, the tabletop games. I started off with like 1 piece for my desk at work, and then I got 2 for my shelf in my office when I had my office going.
Well, I can't blame you for the 1 piece thing.
I think it's a successful mission.
I'm currently sitting on 250 plus pieces.
Literally a jacket I won't stop wearing. I was just
wait. Wait, that
I'm jealous.
Finger still.
Okay. Chris,
you said what?
Stop showing the jacket, Chris.
Yeah, hey. I will wear that jacket proudly. King of the Pirates. Oh man, the leader of the square circle, the Black Fox. What's going on?
Y'all always get me. Y'all always get me on these outros. All right.
What can I say?
It's me every time. You can find me BlackBox447 on all socials. I usually post reviews on everything that I watch, that I play, and things of that nature. I do have a political podcast of my own. I do have a political current news podcast called The Frag We Got Here. Can be found on YouTube and on Facebook. My video game podcast, Get Fit Podcast, every Friday, also can be found on YouTube and on Facebook. And like I said, just like and follow me on social media. We can be cool. Don't be a creeper. Well, I'll be all right. Peace.
It's the don't be a creeper that gets me every time.
Don't be a creeper.
Don't be creeper. Yo, everybody, it's your man up north, the man on the wall. Now, when they hear me say man up north, I don't stay in Canada. I'm just in Northeast Ohio. I'm in Ohio. All right. But I'm the man up north. I'm the man on the wall. If you are following us, thank you once again for giving your support. Merch is coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. But if you are just now being exposed to this, guess where you can find me? Go to IG. You go to the IG channel. You'll find Blurred's Eye View, all one word. And you can find the link tree in the bio that will send you to all the places where you can find Blurred's Eye View. That's including Facebook, Blurred's Eye View Podcast, and Twitch, Blurred's Eye View 1. Also, you can check us out on YouTube. This episode, past episodes, little shorts here and there, and a couple reviews. And you can also listen to us on Opulence Radio. If you just download if you go to opulenceradio.com, download the app, you can listen to us Tuesdays and Thursdays all day, which are the same days we show live shows anyway. So you can catch up and listen to older episodes and see how raw we were in the beginning. But if you don't have that, you can always listen to us on iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Show your love. Hit that YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. I want to thank our guests, Wendy Chewy Robinson, and our brother in arms, Navy Montel. Look at this beautiful compilation of melanin that I have on that side of the screen. That's gorgeous. And we will be back Tuesday. Yes. not nan skin tone out of place. We will be back Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Show your love, show your support. As always, as I end with every show, I want to thank you for coming on, Wendell. Thank you for coming on, Montel. This brother always comes through. Like, it's not even a clutch. This brother just comes through because he just loves what's going on. You know, he's massively supportive in the Blurred community. You need to really go check him out. Blurred and Powerful is the movement. You better get on that train. As always, like I end with every show, remember to educate yourself and others, entertain yourself and others, and most of all, encourage yourself and others. This is the whole entire crew. Let's get them all up here. Right. Here we go. Mm-hmm. And as we do with every show, we are out of here.